welcome to Dishin Days, where we give you a full dish of this week's episodes of NBC's #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Tony Moore, and I'm joined by my gaggle of gals. We have returning out of his comfortable sweatshirt and giving us lumberjack realness.
My $60 sweatshirt.
Oh. And
it was Disney.
He has
I
changed.
was desperate at Disneyland one time.
He has changed into his $10 Target lumberjack shirt.
Dare you? It was $6. No. Michael Mattis, what's up, everybody?
Yay! And of course, back again. We have ladies first.
Hey everyone, I'm Araceli. It's great to be here. I'm giving Michael a run for his money in the comedy department.
Right. And of course, after fixing his router and clearing up his Wi-Fi, we have
Justin Hareld. Hey everyone. If you see me freeze or come in and out, don't panic.
Don't panic, don't worry. He just has to start all over again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in live to talk about what happened in Salem this week. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days on Facebook and Instagram, and _Dishin Days on the Twitter. The @ is still currently confused as to if they should stay at home or go outside, but it knows to wear a mask. Wait, is that it? Oh, yeah, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. You're right here, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click that thumbs up button to let us know that you like it and love it and want a whole lot more of it. But of course, we have to tell you what we thought of this week's episode. So what did you guys think of this week's episodes of Days?
No hourglass?
Oh, not yet.
We haven't started Dishin Days yet.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a solid week. There was nothing exceptionally groundbreaking happened, but it was still an engaging week. I found myself not being distracted easily.
Yeah.
I will say I was a little distracted by all the breaking news, and at one point I was just like, they'll cover it. Like, that's fine. Like, I'm not like I kept going back from, because I like watching it on my DVR, like, because I can fast forward through and I can watch it quicker. I was like, I'm not going to keep going from my DVR to the app, the DVR to the app. I don't want to watch it on the app because it takes too long. So they were like, breaking news. I was like, how much did I miss? 10 minutes? Like, we're fine. They'll cover it. Like, I'll catch up. It's fine.
You're right.
But I thought this week was interesting. I thought, again, a lot of little seeds that are being planted. There are some things that I kind of scratched my head and I was like, what is happening? But yeah. Justin, I'm sorry. What did you think?
I thought it was a good week. Like I said, nothing crazy happened, but I thought it was interesting. A lot of the scenes, we got some good interaction between certain characters. So yeah, I liked it. It was good.
All right. Well, let us start talking about it. It is now time to start Dishin Days.
Hey.
Now it's time for the hourglass.
Yay.
There she is. There she is. Our hourglass. That literally makes that one appearance for all 5 years, and then we forget about it. All right, so let's kick things off by starting with the Xander, Sarah, Philip, Kristen, Ava, a little bit of Maggie and Charlie storyline. Thoughts on...
So I have, do we know, we weren't clued in, because at one point this week they had that scene together in the jail, and they mentioned that they were in Italy together. But do we know, like, were we ever clued in as to, like, how Kristen and Ava, other than Ava was at Kristen's lab in Nashville, like, what their entire backstory is?
We got a scene.
They gave us the scene. It was when Kristen was pushed out of the castle by Marlena. She was in recovery at the convent. Yeah, you must have missed this. It was a scene. It wasn't a huge one, but it was short. It was basically when Marlena pushed Kristen out of the castle.
Yeah.
He recovered in a convent, and she met Ava there because Ava is a relative of one of the nuns.
Interesting. Okay, so their history goes way
back. Yeah, so
Yeah.
a few years. So that's how.
Oh,
I guess Rolf had gotten involved with saving Ava, I believe, was because
Got
she
it.
was friends with Chris. I mean, we haven't
All right,
said that
cool.
fully yet. I'm guessing I guess that's what we're saying her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you know, she said in the jail with Xander that, you know, her and Angela go
Angela.
way back.
Mhm.
Michael Mattis, I can't believe you missed that scene. Like
I must have felt like I couldn't tell you.
You know what? You might have been because I remember seeing the scene and I was a little confused until and I was like, oh, this is Kristen healing. Because Kristen was sitting in a wheelchair and they were at a church and Ava was walking around.
Huh. Okay.
So but
Maybe
that
like the
was
week you're on vacation.
Probably.
Maybe.
Or Bibby was doing something cute and I,
and cuddled. Or you were getting pizza rolls.
Or pizza. I just eat
pizza.
straight pizza, yeah.
Forget the rolls. I actually had to be reminded that Xander and Kristen obviously don't like each other because of the whole baby swapping thing. Because when Xander walked in, I was like, oh, like this is about to be a no-brainer. And then I was like, oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah, the baby. Forgot about all that.
Two reasons. One, Xander ratted Kristen out. Remember during the party? Xander got immunity for ratting Kristen out.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then there's the baby switch. So when he came in, I was thinking of when he ratted Kristen out.
Oh yeah.
But then it was like, oh yeah, he took her baby. Forgot about that.
I mean, that would be like a game changer. Like, no, you're not getting anything out of me. But then he just kept going on things, and I'm just like, you're listing off every single reason why she doesn't want to help you, like down to the most minuscule reason why this woman would never want to help you with anything.
I appreciate that even though Kristen is kind of in the more vulnerable state right now, she's in prison, she's being punished for one of her crimes. The dynamic between Kristen and Xander was kind of the same, where almost Kristen's power, the power.
Yep.
Like Kristen was always the one in control with Xander. She was always the powerhouse, I'll call it. And even then you could still feel that dynamic, even though Kristen's the one that's kind of, in the slammer. I kind of appreciated that they kind of kept that dynamic and they didn't make, Kristen vulnerable to Xander in any way. You could still feel that like he was kind of vulnerable to her.
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Justin.
I was surprised. I actually was waiting for Xander to like offer her something because I was like, why is he's just gonna show up and think he's gonna get answers from her? Like I felt like I was waiting for him to like pull out something like, oh, I'll do this for you, or I'll do that, or like, quid pro quo. But yeah, it was sort of not a weird scene. I liked it. I liked seeing them two together. And like I said, the power dynamic definitely was still there, but it seemed strange that he just thought like she was just going to give him answers. Like,
I think he probably went in thinking that he was the one in control of the situation since given her situation, but no, she was not backing down. And part of me still thinks that Kristen is not, she's turned this corner and that she's, I don't know. I still think that she's secretly up to something.
I don't think she is. I think she truly doesn't know exactly what Ava's plan is. But I think that it's like, she has a respect, like her and Lani's relationship is like her and Ava's relationship. Which is why she called her and said, listen, you got to get down here now. I don't know why she couldn't just tell her on the phone.
Yeah, I know.
But then we realized why. It just shows the extent of their friendship and how there will never, ever be any life to Xander and Kristen's friendship ever again, even though they obviously worked together for years, with the bunker, but that is signed, sealed, delivered. We're not going back down there anymore. But
Xander's a minion. He always will be.
Yeah, but the thing is that wasn't the strangest thing. Like for me, the strangest thing was the plan that Sarah hatched with Xander about working with Philip on this this musical event for this holiday concert for Titan.
Right.
And suggesting that like her and Xander break up. I was just kind of like I understood, but I felt like it didn't need to go into effect that fast.
Yeah, it moved really quickly.
Yeah,
well,
it was
the fact that it happened so quickly, I wasn't expecting Philip to buy it. You know what
but
I mean?
he's totally buying everything. He's like
he's giving off the impression that he's buying it at least. You know,
yeah.
There's always that. I trust nobody basically. Like I always think, like, okay, he's getting it, or is he just trying to make us believe he's getting it? But
he totally. First of all, no one would believe that Sarah would, go that far, except for maybe Maggie. And Philip has not been around to see the depth of Xander and Sarah's connection. So there's, I had no problem believing that he would swallow it up.
There was part of me though.
Lying to Maggie felt wrong though.
It did, because she's been such a champion for Xander and for Sarah. So I think she's even confused, like, y'all had one little argument and that's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, I think Maggie is like, there was a part of me that kind of wishes that Xander was like, listen, Maggie, like, here's the tea.
I was wondering if I almost expected him to tell her, but then I don't think she's on the Philip's up to no good train. I think she's more, she doesn't believe that Philip's up to something, so that's why he couldn't or didn't tell her.
But I think she could be persuaded.
Yeah. I think she could too. I think it could be one of those things where, and almost you kind of want Maggie as an ally, because that's also a direct line to Victor. So if something was up, like, again, Maggie could have been on team Xander and Sarah and also tried to maybe from afar, see what Philip was up to, if anything. And then when everything hits the fan, Maggie could then jump in and say, yes, Victor, it's all true. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Victor, she would be the one, like, when it was presented to Victor and he, like, they find out what Philip's up to, they present it to Victor. Victor doesn't believe it. Maggie could be that like third confirmation kind of, or whatever. Yeah. Victor would actually believe her.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right. I feel the same way.
So I totally thought everything went so fast. And then I was just kind of like, okay, listen, if you are not a professional Nancy Drew, you do not need to make any sudden moves. We saw this not once, but twice. If you are going to snoop on someone's computer, you need to make sure that you have ample time before that person returns. We saw this first with Charlie. Charlie being a novice. First of all, you ain't been in Salem that long to understand how all the shenanigans are supposed to work. And here you are, like, sending the boss down to, like, oh, I'm going to go get coffee. And like, he's going to be right back. So you literally maybe only have 2 minutes. That means one search. And then he walks in and is like, what are you doing on my laptop? And then he's
the way he got so aggressive about it, though.
Yeah,
like,
but
with Sarah, the way, what are you doing on my, like, screaming at her? I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, if it was Philip, I'd be like that too. This is the second time in a day that somebody's been on my stuff.
I just feel like he was more like, he shouldn't immediately think that Sarah, if he trusts her so much, like, immediately thinks she's up to like, I feel like that was a suitable reaction for when he found Charlie, like that aggressive reaction. But with Sarah, I was just kind of like, okay, well, does he trust her or not? Like,
well, it's not about, okay, so Michael Mattis, if I was over at your house and you suddenly found me on your computer, what would your reaction be? Would it be a soft, like, hey, Tony, what are you doing on my computer? Or be like, hey, what are you doing?
I have my computer on lockdown. Password protected, and there ain't no way. So I don't gotta worry about that, Tony.
Well, his was too.
My shit.
Again, what if I was sitting there and I was on the 10th try trying to unlock your passcode? Like, would you come in and say, hey, Tony, what are you doing? Or, Tony, what are you doing? Or would you use the Brady voice of, Tony, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? Go away from my laptop. Get away from my laptop. Get away from that Brady, Eric.
If anything, that begs the question of, like, how well is he actually protecting his stuff? Like, really?
Not well.
Not well.
Not well at all.
The password is Philip with a capital P.
And also,
Password is bad.
Is what?
It's bad.
L.
It's bad. But okay, but what if? But also, like, what was Sarah doing with her little flash drive? We all know that things take a while to download. You know what I mean? And also, when you do things, you have to put things back like you found. So again, you have to allot for that time. You have to allot for time to, like, you know, look through it, put it back how you found it, and then sit down. And
But she was smart
that.
enough to do the decoy though. The decoy list. So I was like, finally, someone like thought ahead. Like, oh, if I get caught, at least I can get out of it by using this. And
Sure.
yeah.
But then also, I was also mad at Philip because I was like, you went all the way to the kitchen for a bowl of chips. Like, you couldn't come back with a sandwich or something. Like she said she was hungry, not hungry for a bowl of chips. Like, you should have came back with a whole charcuterie board.
Charcuterie board.
I'm just saying. So everyone is trying to, like, figure out what Philip and is up to. And then he even just steps out into the living room and calls, I'm assuming, Ava, and being like, and left a message. I don't know why people leave messages.
I know.
But he was like, you know, everything is going better than he thought and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, child, if you think so.
At least he had the dignity to whisper.
That when he said that, did you guys think he was on to Sarah? Part of me thought like, oh, like the same way he's
That's the thing. You can't be
using Charlie as like a double agent. Oh God, am I messing up? Okay. Yeah, the same way he's using Charlie as a double agent, maybe he's onto Sarah and he's kind of playing along. I wasn't sure.
I know, like, that's the thing. I can't trust it that
Phil's
buying into to what Sarah and Xander are doing, or if he's just playing along.
Yeah, it was a little bit. I feel like he played it sort of either way. Like, oh, he feels like he's finally maybe got a friend, or he's making headway, or like he's on to them because he now knows Xander is up to something with the Charlie thing.
Yeah,
that could work in Xander and Sarah's favor too, because Sarah seems to want this to move very quickly.
Right. Sarah,
I feel like the Melissa shout out was nice.
The what?
The Melissa shout out a couple times.
Oh yeah, with like her and her sister used to
when he was like, use your sister's connections.
Yeah. Sarah Johnson in the room wanted to know how we felt about Xander and Sarah teaming up together. I mean, I think it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, team spies, team Carmen Sandiego and Hardy Boy.
And you know, it's a little like it's Sarah / Lindsay is playing it a little extra, but it's not extra. It's not like annoying extra. It's like entertaining extra. And then
the right type of cute.
Cute, exactly. And then Xander's trying to still be like Xander, all puffy chested, but he's totally like at her disposal. Like the power there, like we were talking about power dynamics. Like Sarah's definitely up here with him, but he still tries to, you know, be all big, powerful Xander. And I don't know. I enjoy it. I think they're doing something new with them, rather than just have them be like a happy couple. You know, they're working together, and it's entertaining.
And you know what it is, and it didn't hit me at first that it's actually been a while since we've had a good solid couple on like a caper or a mission together. It's been a while.
Isn't that usually like Jack and Jennifer's thing? They're usually like the investigator.
Because of them with the spectator and stuff.
Yeah.
Marlena,
Okay, so how do we feel about this side note? How do we feel about Sarah being extra quirky nowadays?
I
don't mind it. I think it's funny. I find it entertaining.
Especially because that's so Lindsay. I feel like Lindsay is coming out so much. That's so Lindsay. And the writers directors are just letting her go with it. And it's
I think sometimes usually on another character, it can be a bit much, but I feel like it's so ingrained to who she is and who she's brought to Sarah since the beginning that I think it fits, and it's not too much. Like sometimes it's like, okay, like calm the histrionics a little bit, but it works with the character, and I think it's a good contrast to Xander. Like you said, he is kind of brooding a lot of times, so it's nice to have someone fun a little bit.
We can't have all. I mean, we can't have all brooding all the time. It was such a brutal past few years for them. It's just like, yeah, I need some cuteness.
I think. I mean, I like it. I like it too. I just don't want it to be too much.
Yeah.
Like I think I love like Lindsay Godfrey. Like when like I have thought she was everything since she popped in on the quarantine checkup.
Yeah.
Like a few months ago, like earlier in the quarantine, and she gave us an amazing outfit. Totally have enjoyed her and the times that she's come on here. I always enjoyed the character of Sarah. I've seen a lot of people now talk about the quirkiness, and I like it. I just don't want someone to go, give us more. Yeah. I'm like, no, not more.
It's perfect. Quirkiness level
more.
is like perfect right now.
Yeah.
It's entertaining. Yeah. It's extra, but it's not too much. So yeah, as long as she keeps it level, or they let her keep it level, then we're good.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, and then next week we can't wait to see what's on the flash drive, if anything downloaded enough. I mean, I feel like she got like half of a file in that short amount of time that he went to the kitchen to get a bowl of chips. Right. So let's move on to the next storyline, which is Allie, Tripp, Ava, Steve, Kayla, Lucas, Nicole.
So much
I think I'm getting a little tired of not knowing exactly what happened with Allie and Tripp.
I know. And when he like let out, he's like, oh yeah, we had sex. Oh no, I was lying. I'm like,
it was like I don't like even but then she was even like, but you're lying. And I'm like, but Allie, honey bun, like, what do you want out of this situation?
Yeah.
Like what, like either you're going to take the time to really remember yourself and not be someone that has taken the evidence and like, Henry was proven to be yours, but.
I keep saying this, and no, Dylan Matthews, you will not find out what's on my flash drive, by the way. But
what is on your flash drive?
MYOB, none of your business. Anyway, it's pictures of Bimby. Like, I'm talking like I have secret files and shit. I have nothing.
It's okay.
Anyway.
I'm gonna create a diversion and like come in there and take the flash drive. And then next week I'm gonna be like, look what I got, everybody.
Anyway.
Show up as a pizza delivery man and distract you.
Yeah. Oh. That's a good one. That'll get.
Stop talking about food. I'm hungry.
Pull your hair back.
What are we talking about? Oh,
I'm gonna wear a ponytail.
Okay, Annette Thompson. I forgot where I was going, but Annette Thompson just reminded me. Allie needs to go to Marlena and get hypnotized because that is the magic memory. Forget the Rolf's memory serum. Marlena being hypnotizing you just brings everything out. So why that hasn't been brought up? Come on.
Well, Lucas brought it up this week.
I could beat Lucas over the head with a stick right now. Mm-hmm. What was the purpose? What did he think was going to happen when he told Allie about what Sammy did? What did he think was going to happen?
Was he trying to show that, like, as much as you resist your mother and how she is and how much she cares about you, she's actually gone through a very similar situation?
So then tell me the first part. Leave it at the first part of the story.
Well, I don't think he expected her to like go and redo what she did. But also, I have to applaud once again Ron and the writers because that is such a nice nod to history. Because again, that was not during the time that I was watching Days. And when they said it, I was actually like, wait a minute, did they create this just so? And so I went and looked it up, and sure enough, that's what happened. And but we've always only heard about when she drugged Austin and had sex with Austin, but I had never heard about this Paul Paul is the name of the actor.
Alan.
Yeah.
Alan. I
Alan.
never heard about
Alan.
this Alan guy.
Yeah.
Justin, did you watch? I remember
I
watching.
remember
this
that.
clips.
Yeah.
And Lexi.
It was about a year before the Austin stuff. It was
Yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Lexi was was on the phone with Mike Horton, and she was like, "I need an ambulance. I have a gunshot
Mike.
victim.
Yeah.
Gunshot,
Oh, that's
gunshot
right,
wound to the
yeah.
groin." And he goes, "Excuse me, what did you say?" She goes, "Groin."
Yeah.
She shot him in the
That
nuts.
That was a big thing
Yeah.
back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole storyline, the way it unfolded and like using sort of Carrie against it, like that set up a lot of stuff that came after.
Mhm. And it was, what people don't realize is it was Sammy, and I think the reason we don't remember it as much is because it was Sammy before Sammy was Sammy.
It was. Yeah.
It was
Sammy
on
really shot
Sammy-
out of a cannon
It
after
was
that.
the upswing of Sammy becoming Sammy. It
On the
was-
cusp of her becoming delinquent. Yeah.
Yes. Which is
So-
another reason why I'm like, Lucas, why are you telling her this? This was like literally the impetus of Sammy just shooting out and becoming like, oh, I can get away with anything. Kind of.
I wonder if any of those clips exist. Like
They do.
Like Days fans, if you tweet us the gunshot scene
They're hard
of
to
Sammy
find,
and Alan, and then also I now want to see the Lexi and Mike Horton scene. I want to see all
What'd you say?
that.
Where? Groin.
But so then because I always thought Sammy became villain Sammy because she saw Marlena and
Well, so
John.
she saw
That's a
Marlena
lot.
and John, and then Marlena had Belle. She kidnapped.
Yeah,
Belle.
she kidnapped
I think
Belle.
that was
I remember
kind of like,
kidnapping
was that
Belle.
her like?
That
first-
was more the beginning when she was going to
Yeah.
sell Belle on the black market, and then she had a crisis of conscience and decided she was going to raise Belle as her own daughter, and she ran away.
It
Yeah,
was a lot.
it was all together, kind of. I mean, it all happened
Yeah.
in like succession, but
Mhm.
the ball rolling was like John and
Yeah.
Marlena, and then it was that sort of turned her a little bit into like it made a wedge between her and Marlena and John. That sort of all this other stuff started.
Sammy has lived,
Yeah.
but can we talk about the kung fu kick through the door of Ava and like and her coming in and snatching the gun and then literally taking control of the situation?
Yeah.
Allie looked shooketh.
Allie was like, I am out. She thought she came in, gun literally ablazing and thought she was in control. And yeah, as soon as that happened, she was like, oh, out of my element, out of my element.
He was
And
like, I'm
and
out.
it's like, and this is why it's like, I'm sorry she wasn't like up. This was another kind of feature of amateur hour, because she even said it to like get justice like my mother did. Well, your mother got justice, but your mother also pulled a lot of other stuff before that and got away with it. So I don't want us to say like Allie is like Sammy now. Like, no, Sammy pulled some stuff. Let's not put her on par just yet.
No, Allie is not Sammy 2.0.
No.
Not yet, but she almost sounded like she was about to accept her birthright. Like she was like, I need to be more like my mother.
I think, she
her
was
mother than she wants to admit, though.
Yes.
True. Yeah, but
she's
to want to
her mom, but she's not devious. And
exactly.
Not
it's the stubbornness and the
not the same. And it's like, I feel like someone, probably Nicole, needs to check her and say, you need to stay the hell away from Ava, because Ava is like batshit crazy. And when she says she'll hurt you, she means it.
Well, you saw when like Allie went back to Nicole and told the story and said that Tripp's mom came in. Even Nicole went like,
Mm-hmm. They know what that means.
Like she almost wished she didn't hear it.
I like the juxtaposition of Steve, Tripp telling Ava like, oh, what if she blabs? And Ava's like,
I know.
Blab to anybody. And then the next scene is be like, it was Ava. It was Tripp's mom. And I'm like, well, now will Nicole, now that Nicole has the info, will she do anything?
I was like, of course she's gonna blab. I mean, she didn't shoot anyone, so I mean, what charges would she? I mean,
no,
it wouldn't be good, but it's also not Yeah, she's not gonna be hauled up to jail.
We were talking about. Go ahead.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Oh, the gun when she was leaving.
Yes, I was just gonna say, can we talk about the fact that she like left in terror and then was like,
"Oh, but wait."
Yeah.
She's not getting it.
That gun is my grandma Kate's. Get out of here.
Lindsay Arnold sold that so well though, because she's like, I need the gun. It's my grandma Kate's.
Yeah.
And Ava looking back at her like, girl, if you don't get your little ass out of this house.
Well, it was good continuity with the gun. I mean, that's the gun Kate shot Clyde with.
But here's the thing though. Because when they did the shot of Ava putting the gun in her pocket,
I noticed.
I was like, what little egg dropping is this?
I noticed.
And if it is an egg dropping, because then my mind started swirling of like, it's Kate's gun now in Ava's hands. Like, what is about to happen?
Someone's
Nothing
gonna get shot
good.
and they didn't think Kate.
I noticed that,
The last time this happened, and it has happened before, the last time this happened, remember Kate gifted Sammy a gun as a wedding present? And remember how that spiraled out of control? 2015. I'm going to remind you guys. Kate, the last time that Sammy got engaged to EJ, Sammy gifted her a gun as a wedding present. Yeah. Coincidentally, also involved an incident with a groin.
But who got shot in the nuts that time?
Did she shoot EJ in the nuts?
No, it was Rafe who was about to get like.
Cass. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. Stephanie was gonna have his dick cut off.
Yeah, that's when he was.
Yeah, and Sammy used the gun that Kate gifted her.
That's right.
Kate needs to keep track of these firearms. What the heck? They make special locks for this
jack
stuff.
Her guns.
Ugh.
Lord.
Yeah, I forgot about.
They literally teach you this at the range. Do never use a weapon that someone can take away from you.
I know nothing about that. I don't keep those kind of weapons. My weapons are words.
Your weapons are looks or gifts.
That too.
Gifts on the chat room.
That too. That too.
God, why?
Okay, so I have to ask you guys this. I mean, because I know. And when it comes to Steve and Kayla, when they got in the argument about basically Kayla feeling uncomfortable and doesn't want to walk on eggshells in her own house, she has been very vocal as to like who she believes in the situation. Mm-hmm. Are you team Kayla for Tripp moving out or team Steve for sticking with his son?
Team Kayla on that one. I was like, as much as I don't think that Tripp is guilty of what they're accusing him of. However, I do think that Kayla's request was reasonable based on what she's been through. Not just her own rape, but what she went through with Tripp, that kind of being all brought back. And even though like all's forgiven, they've reconciled, blah, blah, blah. I feel like her request was reasonable. And I got to give credit to Steve. Like he put up a fight, but at the end of the day, he stood by his woman.
Yeah, I'm going to say team Kayla, and it's not mutually exclusive. Like Steve can still support his son and not have, they don't have to be under the same roof. Honestly, once this whole thing happened, my first thought was like, why is Tripp still living there? Like going in an apartment, or you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense that he would still want to stay in that apartment with Steve and Kayla.
Yeah, I agree.
Considering everything that's going on, even just the proximity of like you said, Kayla is Allie's aunt. Like it's a little too much. I thought he should have been gone beforehand. I understand like keeping him there for the dynamic and the drama, but he didn't need to be there in order for Steve to support him.
Araceli, how about you? Because you look like you got a lot on your mind.
Just like my loyalty to my gender understands where she's coming from. Mm-hmm. My rational brain says this is a very dangerous move, especially because Ava is now back. And the thing about The thing about this situation is that I fear that isolating Tripp this much is going to turn him against Steve and Kayla, because up until this point, and he still has mad respect for Kayla. He has never wavered on that. He does respect Kayla, and yes, if she told him to go, he would go.
Mhm.
But even though he sees kind of the crazy in Ava already, the quickest way to influence someone is to isolate them, is to make them feel like you're not listening to them, you're not hearing them, you're not believing them when they tell you something is true for them. And that is how you create chaos.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's that. I actually understand where Kayla is coming from. She's like, listen, we are in this situation. You and I have just gotten back in a good space.
Yeah.
This is making us not in a good space. And while I understand the loyalty to your son, I am uncomfortable in my own home. And I think it makes him uncomfortable in this home. So one or two things is going to have to happen. And I can tell you what one of those things is not going to happen is me leaving my dwelling. So I think it's in the best interest that he moves out so that I don't have to feel like I'm speaking as if I'm Kayla. I don't have to feel like I'm walking on eggshells, and he doesn't have to hear me and make him feel bad. He can go somewhere else. You could check on your son. You could go check on him, make sure he's okay. But as far as this house, he got to go.
Mhm.
And I totally understand that, because, and it's funny because when Ava was holding the gun at Allie, she literally looks at Tripp and goes, "Did you rape her?" No.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Me.
So I don't know. I think I think I'm, and Kayla also understands, like, listen, like, I get that's your son and you want to believe him. However, this is the situation, and I think this is what is going to make it better. Amaya says, but Tony, there is a reason why she is asking him to move out, as Ava comes back to make him closer to Ava and him resent Kayla. That's
Dangerous.
yeah.
And that's my point. So yeah, I don't think I don't think it's unreasonable, her request. I just think that she's not going to have anything if that's a reasonable request. Any other requests past that point are dangerous. Like if she asks Steve, if she continues to berate Steve to not believe him, that is dangerous, because Ava's guess who's gonna be right there to swoop in. And I know this is getting into next week territory, but with Ava back, guess who's coming out of prison?
Right. Guess who's back in the house?
Joey's coming back in the house. I am actually very interested to see what his reaction would be to all of this, because we don't know what's been going on with Joey during this time. Is he going to believe Tripp? He's gonna have an opinion, I think, because not only does Joey have history with Ava, Joey was also had a front row seat to the Chase debacle. He has very strong opinions on this issue.
I'm sure. Well, I think it's going to add a different dynamic when Joey enters the fold. But Robin in the chat says, I bet if Allie had blamed Joey for raping her, Kayla would have been trusting Joey and supporting him, contrary to what she's doing to Tripp.
Case in point.
I mean, Robin has a good point. I mean, she's basically, when you feel like you know your children and what they are capable of, you'll fight it tooth and nail. And I think Kevin asked, well, then who tampered with the blood test? As Justin pointed out weeks ago, it was the wording of how Kayla revealed the test results, in that How did you say it, Justin?
It's there's a relation. They don't tell you it's like the blood test doesn't say you're someone's father or mother. They tell you the percentage and the relation to the person. So as far as we know, there is a relation between Tripp and Henry.
Tyler in the chat said, Tony, Joey's gonna take one look and go wherever Stephanie is.
Which made me think of Stephanie this week for some reason, because when Steve was talking about being close to his kids, I was like, where's Stephanie at? Like it just popped into my head.
Yeah. And they have another kid together.
That's just Stephanie and Joey.
No, it's just Stephanie and Joey. There was
and Benji. Well, Benji years ago.
Benji years ago, but I think Benji. Didn't they kill off Benji? Or am I remembering that wrong?
Benji's dead. Yeah,
Benji's dead. And then there was a very, very brief period where they were thinking about adopting.
They had Tyler.
Who ended up being Philip's biological son.
That would be a storyline if Tyler bringing a Sora's Tyler back.
I'm waiting for that to happen because it would be in the next few years. He would be about the right age to bring back.
He's only a couple years younger than Claire.
Yeah,
and what Claire would be. Yeah, interesting. Huh.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Claire, we'll move on to our Claire, Ben, Charlie, Justin storyline. First of all, my first thought was, Charlie, why are you jealous of Ben and Claire? Of Ben and Claire. They're clearly just friends.
Mm-hmm.
He's clearly still in love with his dead wife.
Yeah, and it's so funny. And kudos to Robert Scott Wilson for this. The way he interacted with Charlie, it's like, he's just like, hey, what's up, man? But he had this notion of dude, we're not, not,
you're getting
that's
the wrong
not
idea.
us. Yeah. And I thought Charlie was over it once he realized that was Sierra's husband. But even sitting at the table, he just kept looking at them, and it was just kind of like, oh, there's something here. I'm gonna go.
And he was really okay.
No, you go, Justin.
He was really rude when they were talking about him being free, and then he said, "Oh, well, he did choke Eli or something like that." And I was like,
he did assault an officer.
I was like, "Aren't you new?"
Yeah.
aren't you new to
Mayor? You don't get to butt in and point that out. It was just it was a little too much.
Well, whatever that reaction.
I'm telling you, he's a villain.
Clearly something happened. Something's in his past that made him react that way, which we just don't know yet.
Which is why we're all hinky about him, and we're like, that's got to be the guy. That's got to be the guy, because clearly clearly there's some kind of possessiveness that hasn't fully come out yet, because the relationship with Claire is so new. But it's it's almost reminiscent, and I hate to say it, it's almost reminiscent of Ben in the Abby years.
Yeah, I don't want them to go that route with Charlie after this week, because as schmaltzy as it was, and usually I don't go for that cutesy, oh, so we're gonna make it official. Oh, I guess so. I thought it was really cute, and I when he was I just thought we could kiss you goodbye, and then I don't know. I thought it was sweet, and after this week, I don't want Charlie to be a bad guy. He can have a demon or something in his past, but I don't want him to have murder in his I don't want them to write him into a corner where they did with Ben. They made him a serial killer, somehow redeemed him, and now he's a hero.
But you just said it, somehow redeemed him. Didn't write him completely into a corner. We pulled him back.
Right.
You know who couldn't be redeemed? Chase.
Oh, no.
Well, him and his dad were sacrificial to the show.
Could be redeemed
in a lot of ways. Yeah.
At all.
Brad K in the chat room. I don't know why he said this during this storyline. Days need some serious homosexual rejuvenation.
I can't deny that.
Always.
Always.
We could have had instead of Julie's Place and TBD, we could have had a whole gay bar, drag queens and all in Salem.
Could have called it Flash Drive.
like one of my first stops in 2021. I need
Okay,
some
bar.
fun. Yeah, I have like so many friends who are just want to go clubbing, and I'm like, wherever we go, I'm there. I'm with you.
That's like that meme that's going around of Lady Gaga. Club, another club, tour bus,
Yes.
plane, club. Wait, what did Justin have to do with this?
He got Ben out of jail.
Oh yeah,
He got him off, or got him released.
Our Justin were so close.
Speaking of homosexuals, no, just kidding. No, he's the one that kind of got Ben's charges reduced, or he got off on community service.
Community service or something. Yeah,
and a fine. Yeah. That was it.
Okay. Well, that's it for that storyline. Those are your top storylines for the week. But just a quick reminder before we move on to tidbits, you all please make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know. We always remind you guys, but you know what? We remind you guys because there are a ton of you in our chat right now or watching later, and you haven't subscribed. So listen, when you subscribe, you'll always get a notification as to when a video is about to come on or pop up. And you don't want to miss all the things that are going to happen while we're Dishin Days. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also hit the like button. Hey, there's like over 100 people in this room. So we should always have at least 100 likes. So please do us a favor. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, share it with your friends and family and other fans of Days of Our Lives so we can help this 5-year, almost 6-year show continue to grow right here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now tidbits. We'll start. Lani and Eli. Are we team Eli or team Lani?
Eli, I guess, if I have to pick one.
Justin?
I'm kind of torn. I like that. I will say this. I like that Eli is like kind of sticking up for himself and not taking the not being the one to apologize and like sad sack. I like their scenes together, and I like that he's like, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen with us, but these are my kids, and that's not gonna change. Like, let's get that clear. So I'm liking that part of it.
Araceli?
Yeah, I agree with Justin. Like, she can't just expect him to push him out of her life just because she's mad at him right now. She's about to give birth. It's not. Now, granted, I agree with her. When you're giving birth, the last thing you need is someone stressing you out. You're supposed to be calm.
Yes.
To be very, very calm as you could possibly get. But at the same time, to expect him not to be in the room for the birth of his children, that's like...
Or for the coaching and all that kind of stuff?
He doesn't have to be the coach because he very well might stress her out. But like to say like, you know, I don't want you around, nothing, like, no, that's not reasonable. Sorry.
First of all, a couple of things. One, I'm laughing at the chat room because immediately everyone was team Eli. And there was one person that was team twins.
Twins.
Yes. Yes, we should all be team twins.
We should. There's a couple of things. One, I'm just kind of like I almost want to be that friend to Lani and go, Lani, girl, you have to understand this. Number one, you're carrying twins. I'm gonna need you to sit down and relax and not get yourself like all up in a tizzy. Two, you do realize Eli's hands were tied. He had to do what he had to do to protect you because you decided to help Kristen and get yourself caught on camera and do it multiple times. So the DA was like, listen, if you don't want them babies birthed in jail, you need to get me Kristen. So you want your babies birthed in jail, or do you want Kristen to go to jail? Which bottom line is, she actually shanked Victor. So it's like she's being punished for a crime that she actually did. Yeah. So there's that. So I think there at some point has to be a level of understanding from Lani. I do love the fact that Eli was just like, when she was like, oh, well, I could ask my dad, but he's entangled with you. I could ask my best friend, but she's in jail. And Eli was like, I'm tired of being reminded about that. And I was just like, Eli.
Yeah.
I was like, yes.
If I could throw
There's
out
one thing.
I want to throw out this analogy before I forget. If I could offer up an analogy for this scenario, one of my best friends described it like this, because I think that Lani doesn't have a better sense. It's almost like Kristen has a better sense of what it means to be a ride or die friend than Lani does, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Because one of my best friends described it like this when I told her, like, you and I are ride or die, I would help you bury the body. And she's like, no, I wouldn't let you help me bury the body, but I'd let you pay my bail money.
Yeah. That's ride or die.
Yeah.
Like, don't entangle me in your mess, but I'll be there to like post the bail and like give you a ride when you get out.
Yeah.
Friends don't help friends go to jail.
There was
Friends
something
bail
Lani
you
said
out.
that I thought was interesting.
What?
There was something Lani said that I thought was interesting that I kind of keep forgetting, and not that I'm saying I'm team Lani or that I think she's right, but when she made the point of like that she was getting Trask to back down and reconsider, and then Eli of course said, I didn't know that. And I think Lani's point was that if you had told me about this, could have worked as a team. And then if under the guise of like she got Trask to back down, it would have been squashed. But I think she had sort of a valid point there by saying, like, if you had told me this, the things I was doing wasn't going to undercut what you were doing, and we could have like gotten out of this sort of together as a team.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a valid, not that I think she's right, but I kind of thought that was a really like strong point.
It is a valid point,
right.
Justin. Had Eli really thought that Lani could pull it off, I think he would have done that. But in his mind, I really thought he really didn't think that Trask would cave.
Yeah.
He really didn't.
Yeah. I think actually, Justin, now that you bring that up, I see now why Lani is still so angry, is that like the partnership wasn't there anymore. And he left her out of a lot of things, and they were both like working kind of against each other. So I see why, but to not allow your husband to be a part of the birth of his kids,
That's crazy.
It's like, let's put things aside. Let's calm down. You got twins, and let's deal with it, and figure it out. So yeah. Ooh, the shade that Dylan Matthews just gave your Wi-Fi connection, Justin.
He's been doing it all. Yeah, we've been having a back and forth the whole chat room. Yeah.
Mm-mm,
No, I feel you. I was screaming last week. I spent like a week, we were screaming at at our subscriber on the phone because we were telling him, no, it's this problem. And they kept sending out guys like saying like, oh no, we fixed it. I'm like, no, you did not fix it. I'm looking at it right now. You didn't fix it.
It's never this bad. It's only for, I don't know, this couple of hours. Yeah, it's never this bad ever.
Araceli, you work at a Wi-Fi company?
No, I know like tricks to get my own Wi-Fi up and down, but I'm just like, if I'm paying,
say no more.
I just think, if you pay for a service,
it should be stellar.
It should be, even if it's not stellar, it should be running.
This is true.
It should be running. True. And if I'm telling you that it's not running, you should believe me.
This is true. Back to Days. Our next tidbit is Nicole, Brady, Chloe, and Philip. Okay. First of all, I like the fact that Nicole was hesitant to let Brady back into Basic Black and broke it down as to why she was not going to do that. But what I don't like is that she caved and was like, okay, great, you're back. I almost wanted her to go, you know what? No.
Yeah.
I have spent way too much time trying to get us to where we are now. and I'm not going to let you come in and flip-flop and mess that up. I've hired someone else.
Mhm.
Knock, knock, knock. Open the door. Chloe.
Da-da-da-da.
Which, do we think Chloe is like business-minded enough to be working
No.
at Basic Black?
No, that's what confused me about it. I'm like,
I don't think she would ever be like in the business section of it. I think she's got a lot of creative savvy.
Yeah, I felt like it was like, because even Nicole said it's not the top, it's not a CEO position, but it's a leader,
Right.
some sort of leadership position. But yeah, I got it was more like a creative, like
I feel like they should have.
person.
I feel like they should have laid that out a little bit of
Yeah.
what she would be doing.
explain
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
more,
there was kind of a disconnect. Like, I don't remember Chloe ever being in the fold at like Titan or Demira
Never.
Enterprises or Countess Wilhelmina.
She was always an
always
opera
been kept
singer.
the opera singer. Yeah,
Well,
and
and
been
she,
kept
then
out of
she
it.
ran Julie's, or not Julie. What was Doug's Place?
Doug's Place, yeah.
Mhm.
She had a stake in Doug's Place, and she was co-running it with Julie.
Oh,
No,
that's right.
I
Mhm.
never really.
For a little bit.
It was kind of confusing for me, but I was like, all right.
But I think they could spin it as sort of like she's someone who's been in entertainment, so maybe that's like the creative
Yeah.
side of it.
Maybe she's
Maybe like
PR,
Yeah.
marketing.
focuses on that, or them
Let-
like yeah.
Listen, for the sake of all of our careers, let's make sure. Let's say we don't pigeonhole people into you do this job to get
Yeah.
to this job to get to this job. Not that way anymore.
Right. I wonder if she's going to be able to participate in the holiday concert, though.
Oh,
It'd be nice to hear
Maybe.
her sing again. She does have a
Yeah.
lovely voice.
She does have a lovely voice. And welcome back, Nadia Bjorlin.
Yes.
Like
Looking great as always.
But keep her away from Philip.
Oh.
Are you not team Philip and Chloe?
No, I'm tired of it. It's old. Move on.
Okay, why can anyone
Move on.
as annoying as
That's some
as
feelings.
Philip and Chloe are,
Tell us how you
Did
really feel.
was anyone else annoyed by the fake tension they were trying to push with the Nicole Chloe Brady? I was like, why are
That
you
was
acting
weird.
like you guys just saw it, like haven't, like you've been friends for years? Yeah, you dated,
It was weird.
you know, decades ago. Like, stop. It was like this weird tension they were trying to play up where it was like, you
Oh.
guys are all like best friends. Why are you trying to make it awkward now that you're both in town? Like, you
That's
know,
what I
it
was
just
wondering.
weird. It didn't make sense.
That's what I was wondering, because when she walked in and it was kind of like, I was just
Chloe,
like,
she
what
left a
is
year
this?
ago and she was best friends with them both a year. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't make sense. It was
I'm
like,
like, what is happening? Or
Yeah.
like, or are you seeing Chloe and like you're drumming up some feelings and like you're
Yeah,
forgetting
it was
about
weird.
Kristen? Like, what's going on?
I would rather see Chloe with Brady. That's how badly I don't want her with Philip.
But Brady's with Kristen.
I'd like to see Crazy Kristen come back.
Hmm. Crazy Kristen in the Nicole mask?
Not in the Nicole mask, but you know, it's been a while since we had a good cat fight.
Yeah.
I'm saying things that are so contrary to my gender today. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. Sometimes, you know, it's all right to go against. I do that all the time. What was I gonna say? Oh, and then and there were two different looks with Philip and Chloe, because Chloe was looking at him like, oh, and Philip was looking at her like, hey.
yeah.
And
He
I was
always
like,
does that though.
huh?
He always does that with her. He always does that with Belle and Chloe.
Well, I'm just confused at like why they tried to throw like, I still have feelings for Belle. I'm like, do you? Because you don't act like it.
No, it's but put some of these to rest.
He doesn't know how to have a relationship, so he always falls back on those two. And they said,
Right.
oh no, but I like Chloe.
That's
Oh
true.
no, but I like Belle. I'm like, somebody
Well,
get him someone new.
True.
I'm tired of it.
Belle's taken.
Belle's taken. Chloe has been through enough. When she had a baby for her best friend, I was like, girl, I don't care what you do from now on. You need someone good.
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting. Dylan, the facial expressions Tony is giving off this morning, the gifts will be flowing. Oh boy. Kevin asks, is that why Philip is back, Tony? No, I'm assuming Philip is back because, you know, they needed the last Blast game together. Side note, I'm sad that there's no more Jan.
Yeah.
He's in a coma
I'm
now.
sad about that.
I
Is
feel
she?
part
I
of me
thought-
likes when like they bring someone in for like those small plot and it's interesting and fun, but part of me is like, you could have kind of made her a little bit more of a lasting character.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's a way to do it. I think like you don't have her be as crazy, but she could have been a schemer and just not have been mentally ill. But
Yeah,
I don't know, I miss her. I thought that she had a place there for a little while.
I agree.
You just gave me an idea. Oh, you gave me an idea. Oh, so you know how like we've been getting like the ridiculous prison scenes where, you know, somehow Rolf is connected to all the other prisoners, and then we have prison break thing. Why haven't we gotten that with the women?
Well, we did when we had Bonnie and what's her
Hattie?
name?
I need a good
Hattie,
trio.
yeah.
I need a good trio.
The Bonnie and Hattie.
Bonnie, Hattie, Angelica. That had promise, but it kind of fizzled.
Yeah, I would love to see Kristen, Ava, and Jan.
Oh,
my villainous mind is
that's a
working overtime
lot
right now.
That's a lot of crazy.
But they could get it done. They really could.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so energized today.
You saw what?
I'm so energized today about stuff. I don't know why.
You are. I love it.
Maybe sweater.
Someone corrected me and said it's Janet, not Janet. Sorry.
Janet. Our apologies.
And I just responded, it's Miss Spears if you're nasty.
So yeah, we'll see how Nicole, Brady, Chloe, Philip all work out. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Again, I just like this transition of seeing these characters like on the canvas and doing stuff. So good for them. On to Sean, Belle, John, and Abe. First, I pose another question to the room. Who do we think would be best suited as a fill-in commissioner of Salem PD? Because Sean was not getting the hint that Abe was slightly offering it to him.
Right.
And then he declined. So who do you think would be best suited as an interim commissioner?
I think Sean needs to take it.
Yeah, I keep going with Sean, even though he turned it down.
Eli's busy.
Eli's busy. Rafe's been gone and looking a little haggard. Yeah, I feel like Sean is the most logical choice.
I thought
Sean's
so too.
a little. I don't know about Sean. I feel like he should have asked Eli, since Eli was the other commissioner before this, wasn't it?
Oh,
it was Eli?
Briefly.
He left.
I forgot.
Yeah, but it was Eli. He left, and then it was Hope. When she left, he offered it to Rafe. You know what I mean? I feel like it should have just went back to Eli then.
Yeah.
With Hope and Rafe gone. Also, Sean, we're now changing it, right? Because he was in forensic, so now he's an actual detective, and now he's interim commissioner. It was like, wait, like, I mean, I understand there's only so many people on the cast, I guess, that we know that are cops, but it was like, it was a little bit of a leap.
It does seem it seems as if Sean thought it was kind of like ridiculous, but it really it shouldn't be, because I think this would be like the next step into like really elevating him and bringing him into the forefront, because both of his parents were commissioners. Why is it such a leap?
It's a legacy.
Yeah, I don't know why he would think it was such a leap.
I honestly think that he would have been the most logical choice. It's weird that he turned it down, and I wonder if he turned it down because like Rafe is back in town, but I also would find it weird if Rafe came back and resumed his duties as commissioner. And to be honest, there's not a lot of people left because Lonnie's about to go on maternity leave. So like there's not a lot of J Square said best detective in town, Sarah or Chloe.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it would have been Sean, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. But Belle and John, I got so scared because when they said murder, I was like, Lord, is she dead? But then he was like, no, she's not dead. I was like, okay. But it's sad that like he's not able to, he has to spend a night in jail. Abe can't do nothing.
I think John can handle himself in jail though. everyone that I'd be worried about spending a night in jail, John Black is not one of them.
This is true. I mean, I definitely think he'll
Especially
be fine.
now, because he can choke a bitch.
Don't make him angry. Don't make him angry.
That's its own meme.
All right, that was that. And then Rafe and Roman, they still talking and catching Rafe up. And Rafe is beating himself up unnecessarily for not being there for Hope. That's it.
Yeah.
That was such, I feel bad saying this because I love the characters. I love Rafe and Gabi, but that was such a letdown.
Yeah.
It just felt that whole hour felt so deflated.
Yeah.
Oh, just by him catching up with Roman?
Well, that, and even Gabi coming back and then just like explaining things to Jake and then just leaving, and just their returns. I was so excited for their returns, and then their returns just felt so deflated.
Yeah.
It was almost like a bad, like a bad cake. Just
Gabi's return was better.
Well, speaking of Gabi, we'll talk about Gabi, Kate, and Jake. Go ahead, Michael Mattis.
No, I loved Gabi's return because the way she walked into the house last week with Chad and Gwen
with the fur coat and the dress.
Yes.
Yeah, and then this week when she walked in on Kate and Jake, I was like, okay, this is how you do returns. You don't just walk into the square and start chatting up with your friend. You make an entrance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a couple. Well, one of the shade of Gabi.
Oh yeah.
And here you are messing around with great grandma Kate. I was like, oh
yeah.
Well, then she told Kate, she's like, you're like a mother to me. And
yeah.
So, well, now she got your man. So
well,
it is not Kate's fault that her children and her grandchildren kept having babies so young.
This is true,
and that she takes care of herself. That's not her fault.
But also, are we surprised or no that Jake has feelings for Kate and Kate was just kind of having fun?
I'm not surprised by that. That seems that's very true to, I think, Kate. And you gotta wonder if Kate just hides it or Kate's you know. It would be more like her to have the feelings and suppress them than to just
like her defense mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. And Kate has a way, like, casts a spell on men. She did, and so I'm going with it. Is
I mean, I don't mind either, but go ahead, Justin.
I think they've been showing us too that they're nicely matched in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I mentioned this before, like Kate has dated a lot of men, but she's never dated the type that Jake is really sort of straightforward, not as stuffy, kind of blue collar, but also kind of like fun. Like she doesn't date men that are fun, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I was like, are we gonna have another triangle with Gabi, Kate, and Jake?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't want that. I was dreading that.
Now that Jake kind of knows the truth that she was lying and trying to like protect him and all this kind of stuff, does that change how he feels for Gabi? Does it change how he feels for Kate? I mean, I always felt like this. I always felt like I don't want Jake and Gabi together because I feel like it's Days' way of trying to rectify Stefan. Like, I don't want that to happen. I wanted Jake and Kate to remain friends, but I am now okay with them being a couple. Because I think Jake will dote on her like so much. And I think that this could be a love that Kate deserves rather than it's some sort of like arrangement that she eventually falls in love with someone or whatever. Like, I think right off the bat, it could just this relationship can start off on like the right foot.
Yeah.
Especially because Jake isn't the kind of man who would turn on her like every other relationship she's been in. Every other man has turned on her and badly.
Yeah. Annie Goen said, I can't remember. Did Gabi ever find out that Mommy Kate slept with her brother Rafe?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that came out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it had to and because of the, situation.
Oh, because that's why Stefano. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's them. So, and then like everyone else is feeling about Gabi's return. And then she's like, forget it. I'm just going to move to Arizona. I was like, that could have been done in an email or text or a letter.
Yeah,
like, you better not be going to Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to need you to stick around and not Which she has to be. I think it must just have been like a moment of like, whatever, fine. I don't have to deal with this. I'll just go back to Arizona. I'll take my pho and head west.
Or it'll be like a quick trip for the holidays, and we'll see. You know what I mean? She'll reappear.
Yeah.
The new year,
Hopefully.
sort of like I'm back, or yeah.
Mhm.
You can't bring a character back without purpose, and that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
Gabby came back. She thought her purpose was Jake. It's not going to be Jake. Rafe came back for Hope. Hope's not there. So if they come back and they really bring him back full time, they really need to have some kind of purpose on the canvas.
Yeah, very true. All right. So last but not least, Jack, Jennifer, Bonnie, and Justin. What did we think about that scene?
Drunk Jennifer was funny.
Fun.
Love drunk Jennifer.
The cackle.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think she kind of needed it. I think this is a way to kind of jolt up the Jennifer character, and then the Bonnie looking over and be like, those guys.
Bonnie is a friend that you need. You need
Yes.
that friend who's just going to take you day drinking when you've had a really crappy time.
And I like the way that they're trying to redeem the character. You know, even though Bonnie did some shady stuff, it's a good thing that, like, you know, they're allowing this moment with Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's it.
That was it.
That was it. That was the week of days. Now we're going to go to our favorite part of the show, which are our segments. And we're going to start with mine, which is Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. Listen, my 3 Snaps Award goes to someone who was kung fu fighting through the door to protect her son and was not going to let anyone ruin his good reputation. So, Tama Braun, Ava Vitale, you for being a badass bitch. Sorry, Mom. And coming through that door to save your son, you get Tony's official 3 Snaps Award. By the way, I mentioned this before, like in a group chat, but we have from 2 years ago at the Daytime Emmys when Lucas, who plays Tripp, and Tamara, who plays Ava, met for the very first
Oh
time.
my gosh.
Yeah, they had never met before, but like, you know, they were and it was funny because Lucas mentioned then, like, how crazy would that be if like my mom came back from the dead?
Well, not too crazy.
There we go. It stays in our lives and soap
Not too
operas.
crazy.
I mean, their scenes were strangely heartwarming.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And next up we have
All right. This week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Sarah and Xander and little boop on the nose with the caption from pull it up here, Sandy Zamora on Twitter with her caption, "Does my finger smell weird to you?" That was pretty much all of the captions for this one. It's like,
Really?
pull my finger, pull my finger.
or it was bloop bloop.
Or bloop. Yeah. Bloop.
And that has been
Mhm.
all right. And now it's time for Those Were the Days.
In this week's segment, Those Are the Days, we are looking at Bonnie and Jennifer, and inspired by that wonderful scene in Julie's place of them kind of sitting down and having fun and having lunch. This reminded me back when they first met. This was before they sort of made Bonnie this like really villainous character, and she was just sort of this kind of out there, outrageous character. And her and Jennifer weren't friends back then, but back then, Bonnie and Julie were more of, I wouldn't say rivals, but they were more enemies because, of course, Bonnie was moving in on Mickey and Julie was protective of her uncle, and Jennifer was sort of like the person off to the side who was sort of like, let's give Bonnie a chance. She's good to Uncle Mickey, blah, blah, blah. And it reminded me back then, but fast forward to this scene now that we just saw this week. And it reminded me that when Missy plays Jennifer, we sort of get like, Jennifer's a sort of tough character all around, but Missy, there's sort of like, we talked about this before, there's like a Pollyanna sort of like, kind of sweet disposition that she has. And I think that what is it Katie or is it Caddy? Katie brings to the role is, I don't want to say grit, but there's a little bit more toughness. I feel like that when you look at Jennifer, I think Katie exudes. And I think having this version of Jennifer, the Katie version, become friends with Bonnie, I think makes really good sense. That I don't know if it would have worked necessarily if it was Missy playing the character. I'm sure they would have done it the same way, but I feel like this pairing to me is just a little bit stronger because of the toughness that Katie brings to it. So that's what was kind of running through my head when I saw them sit down. I was like, I know they weren't friends before, but I get it now. I feel like it works better a lot now.
Those were the days. All right, and now it's time for It's a Gift.
So my week's just a gift, and man, Matthew Ashford has some good facial expressions when he puts his mind to it. That is like, oh shit moment. It's the moment you realize you're totally screwed because your wife has a life of her own.
How dare you?
Yeah, and it was just like, I just kept, every time I kept replaying this clip because I just kept, you remember in the old Looney Tunes cartoons, that character that kept running around with a mallet? Yeah, I just kept picturing just somebody hitting him on the head. That's like look.
And he's shifting too, yeah. So,
yeah.
Shout out to Dylan Matthews for always making the gifts for the segment.
Thank you, Dylan.
That was It's a Gift. And another shout out to Me World 2, who has his Oh Shiz moment of the week. We will be sure to tweet that out as well. And now it's time for some news and gossip.
Alrighty, well, you can still check out our Den Mother James Lott Jr.'s all new audio drama, Mistletoe Road, debuted last week. The story of Mistletoe Road follows 3 Los Angeles friends who wake up in Christmas City, where it's Christmas every day. Find out what happens on the all-new audio drama created by James Lott Jr., Mistletoe Road. You can find it under all streaming services you can find it on all streaming services under the name JLJ Media. That's kind of small. Can you see it? There you go. And unfortunately, Starstruck Fan Events has had to cancel their Jekyll Island event in January due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. An email will be going out to all attendees regarding credits and refunds. So that is that.
And that has been your news and gossip. And now, everyone, it is now time to take a sneak peek as to what is coming up next week on Days of Our Lives. And if you want to see the extended promo, make sure you download the Days app where the extended promo is there exclusively, meaning we ain't ever gonna have the extended promo because it is exclusive to the Days app. So if you want to see the extended promo, make sure you download the Days app. Here we go.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Just because you're so damn beautiful. You got some news, big news. You're free to go.
My son has been sitting in prison for 4 years.
No.
Oh. Wowie, wowie, wow. Wowie, wowie, wow. Wowie, wowie, wow. Wow.
Miss Joey.
Yes, yeah. I'm glad that Joey is getting out. I hope that he sticks around and he doesn't like end up going to wherever Stephanie is. But let me tell you, Kayla gonna be mad. Ooh, Kayla. Kayla said, you had my child sitting up in that jail for 4 years and you over here alive and breathing. You're about to be dead, heifer.
But is it weird that I kind of understood Ava's point?
He did smother. Technically, he did. He smothered her, like, then killed Will. Like, they still did the act.
Like attempted murder. Like
Yeah.
they could get him on attempted murder.
I mean, it's like, it's not like she's not alive because he didn't try to kill her.
I mean, that's,
My mom just
it's
texted
like the
me and
Ben
said,
thing,
kill her.
Will. Yeah.
My mom just texted me and said, kill her. So that's from mom. Again, if you guys want to watch the extended promo along with some other amazing videos, make sure you download the Days app that you can find on iPhone or Android or whatever your smartphone is that allows for apps. They definitely have a lot of other cool interviews and behind the scenes stuff. So make sure you download the Days of Our Lives app today. That was not an ad or a promo that we are getting paid for, but we just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. All right. And that was it. That was your week of Days. Michael Mattis, tell the kind folks where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at MLMattis.
All right, Sally.
You can find me on Twitter at Tia323 Araceli.
And Justin.
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And you can find all of us at Dishin Days on Instagram and Facebook and _ Dishin Days on the Twitter. And you can find Little Old Chocolate Me on all social media platforms at Lounging with Tony. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another full dish of your favorite #1 award-winning hit soap opera, Days of Our Lives. We'll be back next week for another full recap. So make sure you don't miss it. And hey, tell a friend. And if I haven't said it enough, subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.